We were at a conference in Disney, physician conference. So they went down with me, and then I stayed the rest, and they went back Tuesday, and I came back on Thursday. So it worked out really good.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
They got
Trying
fun.
those family.
I try.
That's what we do. Right.
Plus, the place is already paid for, so just get there.
Right. Right.
And they loved it. All they cared about was getting in the pool. They didn't care about trying to go nowhere. Kathy, we're not going to start on time. Kathy, we're not going to start on time.
All day. So we're going back to just the hand stuff. So let everybody know Board Docs is down.
5:35. Can we start the meeting to avoid
Yeah.
the late hours?
I'm ready.
And John, board docs is down. I made board docs is not. Okay. So what just happened? I thought I heard something. Was a motion made or anything? Okay, thank you.
Call to order. Call to order. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, it's 5:35. Sorry, Adam.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On to roll call.
Is that Oberger?
Here.
Ms. Zimmer?
Here.
Ms. Herbert?
Here.
Ms. Walsh?
Here.
And Mr. Kirschner?
Here.
On to item D, agenda approval. Anybody have any questions or concerns?
Yeah, I have a statement to read and I have copies to leave with the treasurer, and I'd like this added to the minutes. Regarding board level exit interviews, in my opinion, this is an attempt by the board to conduct business that is not board business. An exit interview is an administrative function, the results of which should be available for public inspection. This appears to be an attempt by the board to conduct exit interviews in secret and to bind the board to confidentiality under the threat of lawsuits. This would be a continuation of the board's violation of Ohio's anti-SLAPP law, officially codified in Ohio Revised Code, section 274701 through 06. I waive all rights of confidentiality regarding this executive session and retain all rights to take notes and share information for the good of the district in the spirit of proper administrative exit interviews. The information shared will not be statutorily confidential, and I intend to treat it as such. This is a repeated pattern of our current administration and some board members following their recent attempt to discuss budget reductions in executive session and their subsequent refusal to have the discussion in public. Please also note that the invited participants are under no obligation of confidentiality, and I'm participating as an observer to protect the public's interest. I intend to ask questions that would be typical of such an interview. I do not have any idea who is going to be interviewed. That appears to be held in confidence by a select few. How can any board member prepare themselves under the shroud of secrecy? I also believe that the board will be left with two simple choices. One is to conduct a proper interview and violate the Open Meetings Act, or two is to restrict the speech of those being interviewed in such a way as to make true and complete answers impossible. Additionally, I'm very concerned that this meeting and the actions leading up to it may involve Open Meetings Act and round robin communication. These concerns are heightened by a prior settlement agreement that former board president Latoya Dadelberger entered into without public board authorization, which cost taxpayers an exorbitant amount of money to settle and reportedly bound board members to potential $10,000 fines, among other penalties. A settlement agreement purchased at such a substantial price without supporting documentation or evidence of underlying claims is deeply concerning. After that, another $50,000 was spent with full knowledge of that agreement and disregard for it, again without board authorization by Seth Bowers. The names and faces have changed slightly, but the activity appears to me to be the same. The public deserves transparency, lawful governance, and a board that conducts its business in the open whenever possible. And I believe all the board members, when running for this office, committed to that to the public. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Well, I have a statement to read as well. Before we proceed, I need to place several concerns on the record regarding the notice and development of this special meeting. First, in my opinion, the proceedings leading up to this meeting raise concerns under the Open Meetings Act. There may be evidence of possible serial or hub-spoke communication where members individually contacted the administration to shape the notice outside of the public meeting. that risk improper deliberation. Second, the stated purpose is problematic. The notice asserts that the board believes it is imperative to hear differently from exiting employees and to better understand the organizational climate and improve staff retention. In my view, that statement in itself evidences a consensus of collective positions formed outside of an open meeting. To my knowledge, was never discussed or adopted publicly. Third, that same statement, the same stated purpose describes administrative day-to-day function, not board business, and does not clearly align with a valid statutory purpose. Fourth, there are significant notice concerns. Not all members receive notice in the manner required, and I still do not have clarity on who is expected to attend, who requested to meet with the board, and what specific matters are being presented for board's consideration. Fifth, I received additional information this afternoon between approximately 3 and 4 p.m. I have not had sufficient time to fully review it. However, based on the initial review, it does not appear to support the assertion that there is an HR crisis. To be clear, if the board wishes to consider exit interviews with specific high-level employees, that determination should be made in open session at a properly noticed meeting. Finally, given the board's prior Open Meetings Act settlement, proceedings under these circumstances creates legal and substantial financial risk to the district and the individual board members and may constitute a violation of that settlement agreement. For these reasons, I object to the meeting as noticed and to proceed under these under the current notice. Let me pass that down to Mr. Coyer. Thank you. Any other comments?
Last I checked, this is apparently the school board of Kathleen Walsh because you control everything. So you tell us. I mean, last I checked, I requested to talk to Ty Overson when he first made the request. I made that request to you. You shot it down, didn't even bring it to the table to have a discussion. So you tell us because clearly you run everything.
Okay, to be clear, there was no request that met the reason we were going to executive session then.
I'm talking about the first time I made the request when he requested it originally from the email sent by our treasurer saying if you would like to meet with the board in executive session, please let me know.
For what purpose?
For the contract.
Which was renewed?
Correct, but they still have the opportunity per Ohio Revised.
No, and you're actually wrong, Ashley. His request did say nothing about his renewal.
There was multiple things in his request, but you don't know what he was wanting to discuss. You didn't even give him the opportunity to speak with us. You stopped that. You took away his rights.
So if he said, I didn't like the popcorn in the lunchroom, you could apply that to a non-renewal in your mind. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with half the stuff you guys do. What's that mean?
So to be clear,
I mean, you did have a meeting with Dr. Salazar.
Her request was for non-renewal.
Her contract was renewed. Same thing.
No, not the same thing.
How is it not?
Her request met board policy. It was for non-renewal. It wasn't because I don't like this or I don't like something else. It was non-renewal. We don't have board policy, unfortunately, for I don't like this and I don't like this.
You don't know what was wanting to be discussed in executive session.
I know his request.
There was multiple things in the request. Have you talked to him? Do you know what he wants?
Okay, so
I'm just asking.
We have counsel. We have counsel here, and we have counsel that told us it was not appropriate.
You had one counsel. It wasn't even Steve Tudent who said it. I spoke with Brendan about it, and he also agreed with my rationale.
And obviously, you want to point at me and say I stopped something. That's pretty much impossible on one board member.
Oh, you're correct. You did not. Kathy did.
With board counsel. And
board
now,
counsel does not mean the board. You still have to have the full board support to make a decision.
you could have made a motion during any meeting to have that done. You did not. Additionally, the request did not ask for a meeting per policy or state law. Actually, when my understanding from board counsel is when their contract is up for renewal and they ask for a meeting with the board, we have to meet with them. That's right. They have to ask for that. Both legal counsel said it was not a good idea to meet with Ty Overson. That was a correspondence, and I can make sure they send it to you if you would like. And I mean, I'm just doing what they're saying. I'm sending them requests, and they're saying, "Hey, this is not a good idea. You're interrupting. Point of order. I am not done."
Response to your email today requesting to meet with the Groveport Madison Board of
You are
Education
not.
prior to
You
their
are not.
scheduled meeting.
Can
Guess
you?
what? I
can
called
you
the call for our last meeting.
Point of order. Your forum is
Oh, God.
ridiculous.
You
Can you
realize
settle
we
down?
discussed
I mean,
something
you
that
have
we
grown
took
up.
off the meeting.
Okay,
So, are we gonna go back and forth? I mean,
no.
I understand we're not.
I think,
back against you.
I think I have a solution that might work. Did you not, counsel, do you mind? Is it appropriate? Can you come up and talk to us? Because I think you weighed in on this matter and you did
He
not.
did not, it was Brenda.
Brendan? Okay. But you know Brendan's advice to us? Are you familiar?
I don't actually know Mr. Alderson.
I can't hear.
Okay. All right.
I
Well, we
will say-
can cover that. So, yeah,
Okay.
the issue was, again, because honestly, the way I feel about it is this simple. Hey, anybody out there, any employee, anybody in the lunchroom, if you have any grievance at all, you can name anything you want. Bubblegum stuck to my shoe, and you can now come to the board. We have statutory and policy that dictates when you come to the board. And from what we were told from counsel, Brandon, it didn't meet that threshold. So now we kick it down the road and we address it through exit interviews for someone who's not exiting. We just continue, and it makes no sense to me. And it's not that I want to silence Ty or anything like that. It's a matter of what Pandora's box do we open? If you don't state it statutorily correctly, what do we do? And I don't assume, and I don't go
Is
meet
it
with
not
you and say,
statutory correct?
is there
to say
something
you're
between the
discussing
lines that
employment?
I'm not done talking. If there's something between the lines that I missed, can I fill this in with you? I don't see that as my role. And I'm not trying to be obstructive. I'm just explaining what happened, why, and when as I understand it. Thank you.
I was told by Steve Susan that he does not think it's a good idea for us to meet with Ty Overson, period. So if there are any other comments right now,
I do have one comment. Did the board already set this precedent? Hasn't the board met with several other people over the course of this year
And
in
last year.
executive session about concerns and complaints?
Correct. And that's the other, and they're all at the admin level. I was going to state prior to the new board.
I can't understand what you're saying.
Prior to the new board, this other members of the board, myself, you, Kathy, and John have met with other members of our district without legal counsel before. So this is not the first time that we're meeting with anyone who's requested to speak with the board, regardless if it was a non-renewal or anything of that nature. So this is not, I'm just saying it's not, I'm not here to argue. Everyone has their opinion. We did seek legal counsel. Wasn't that we just made this up? I asked the treasurer to go to legal counsel to get the reason. There was the reason provided, hence we noticed the meeting. So I know I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to pretend to be one. Therefore, we went through the proper channels. And I did reach out to the board attorney and did not get a response because she was out. And so her and I did speak this morning. So it's not that I didn't reach out to whom I guess the board deemed is the first point of contact before even going to our treasurer to then reach out to legal counsel. So that can be on the record. But this is not the first time that this board or the board previously had met with administrators who've had concerns. And we've done that without legal counsel.
Can I make a statement, please?
Yes.
So I don't have anything written or prepared or anything like that. I didn't, been at work all day. I'm super embarrassed to be sitting here as a part of this board at this moment. It's really unprofessional, unbecoming, and doesn't represent our students well at all. I think intimidation and bullying tactics are inappropriate towards our staff. And I thank you all who did come to speak to us. I'm open to hear what you have to say, and I apologize.
And anyone who wanted to come and did not, you feel free to reach out anytime. And I'd be
I
more
can't
than
hear what you're saying.
anyone who wasn't able to attend today or was afraid to attend because of the display of behavior today for this reason, feel free to still reach out to me directly if need be, because we do want to hear from you, and others do go to other board members. So don't be afraid. If you need to speak with me, I open my door. Thank you.
Are you referring to specific people?
No, Kathy, and I'm not going to take your rage baiting either. So hopefully you heard that very clearly, because you like to rage bait, you like to bully, and
I
now
have no rage.
I'm speaking directly to you. You asked the question, sister, you're getting it. So you're the one that comes here trying to get a rise out of folks, and that's not what we're here to do. I'm trying to be consistent. We've done it for others. I just want to do the same. That's it. It's not personal. It's not.
I have no rage, and I think my opinions should be able to be shared without being attacked by a board member. Any other questions or comments?
And I was just hoping you would do the same for others.
Any other questions or comments?
I just,
I just would like to say, sorry, John, I did not mean to
Go
cut you off. There would not have needed to be a special meeting if you would actually listen to the board members and do what we request and ask. On numerous occasions, you have overruled and done what you wanted versus what people want. And again, this is not your board.
I based my statement on.
I'm not
the
talking about
advice I
today, I'm
received
talking
from
about in
legal
general,
counsel.
Kathy,
So
multiple
that's
times.
just a response to your accusation that I'm not considering. I sent it to legal counsel, and that was, the decision was, hey, why don't you guys wait until after the investigation? And that's exactly what I sent out, and that's what legal counsel said to me, and said that I should share that with the board. So also another problem with the agenda is the notice does not have to consider action, to have action. So we should remove item G. So since we don't have action on the notice. So does anybody have a problem with that?
And is that the email you put out earlier today, or was that also for the 7 o'clock meeting too? Both meetings removed the item G action because that wasn't put on either notice.
Yes, neither one of the agenda notices.
Is everybody okay with that?
do action. So,
Okay.
and I think I already sent to Jamie about the.
and
7
I want to point out very peacefully, not intimidating. I'm not trying to intimidate anyone. The situation that we have this year is much, much different than we had in the past years. And therefore council was different. I don't even know if when we went in to hear from other assistant principals and other people, we obviously didn't have this level of illegal activities going on at the time between administration, et cetera. So it was a different climate, and I wouldn't be surprised if no one even felt the need to check with council in this situation with the different investigations and things that might be going on behind the scenes. It was a heightened environment, and I think that is where council was involved, and I don't think there was any ill intent in that. And I do think there was opportunity that we probably missed and we're missing today, just by not wording things more carefully and getting better counsel and preparing these. Because if we want to hear from Ty today, which is awesome, it shouldn't say we're hearing from him for an exit interview. And that's what that's what the notice says. So again, it's just procedural, and it's not like, oh, we're trying to silence or we don't want to hear from people. If you want that, then there's a way to do it. And again, procedurally, we didn't do it. We said we're meeting for exit interviews. So, you know, again, if there's ways to get it done, and I don't think people are trying, I'm not trying to thwart it, but obviously there's a higher level of legal engagement with several attorneys weighing in on this particular, at this particular moment in time. So thank you.
Okay, roll.
Can we wait in first and second? We removed item G.
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure we read the meeting notice. I was trying to find the one for this meeting really quick so we can read it on the record. So just give me 1 second, please. Because I know what was submitted. However, when we spoke with legal counsel, there was different language that was provided. Where's the language we read it? Someone sent it to me. I was looking for the language that was provided from legal,
From Brendan.
and whatever was provided. I just couldn't find it, but I just wanted to make sure we read it if possible.
Did she send that to the whole board?
Send
Okay.
what?
You said you were looking for,
I was just trying to find the legal guidance that we got. So that's all.
legal guidance.
For the special meeting for today at 5:30.
I thought you meant there was an email sent out.
I'm just trying to go through my email to find it to speak to it. That's what I'm doing. So I don't know what you're asking for, Kathy. That's why I was
That's why,
asking.
yeah, I was just curious if it was sent to everybody, because then
I
I
don't
could look
know.
in my email also. I don't remember seeing that.
Not to hold them up anymore. We can go ahead, but I do want to make sure we read it. I don't want to hold them up anymore. So
Do I need first? Latoya first and second.
yes.
Second.
Ashley. Roll call.
Then-
Kathy, roll call. Okay.
And
Mrs.
let-
Dudberger.
Aye.
Ms. Zimmer.
Aye.
Ms. Herbert.
Hi.
Ms. Walsh.
No,
And Mr. Kirschner.
No.
I move for a 5-minute recess.
So moved.
could you repeat
She
that,
seconded.
please?
I second. Ashley asked for a 5-minute recess, and I seconded it. Sorry about
It
that.
came up
It
35
came up, it
minutes.
said 35 minute recess.
That's a long one. Thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Dudberger.
Aye.
Ms. Zimmer.
Aye.
Ms. Herbert.
Aye.
Mrs. Walsh.
Aye.
And Mr. Kirschner.
Aye.
That's 5:57.
Thank you.
We have, the next item is executive session.
I have a comment.
Sure.
So based off of the statements that you and Mr. Kirshner have read, and I'm speaking to make sure you can hear me clearly, you both are waiving the confidentiality. And that was the question I had with our legal counsel. And then also, would those employees still wish to speak at this time? If you're stating you wish to, if I could see their statement, please, to read those specific areas so that everyone knows exactly what was being waived. So in executive session, it keeps it confidential. And then it stated that you would, that it's the board conduct exit, the attempt by the board to conduct exit interviews in secret and to bind the board to confidentiality under the threat of lawsuits. This would be a continuation of the board's violation of the Ohio's anti-SLAPP law. However, there's a statement that you read, I believe Mr. Kirshner spoke to, waiving that. So I just want to make sure that our employees that are here that came to speak to the board understand that, and if they still wish to speak. So I would like, either if it's appropriate, I at least want to give them the opportunity to make that decision based off of your two statements, Kathy and John, waiving the confidentiality in the executive session. And I just think that's fair.
So I would quick comment, because you put me in there saying that I did that, but I did not make that statement of that I was waiving confidentiality. So I'm going to correct the record.
My apology, whoever said it. I just wanted to make sure that the employees that are here, that they have the chance to either say they wish to even go into executive session with the statement being read this evening, that a board member's confidentiality will be waived, or they're just going to do whatever and whatever, and I might be funny when I say that, but whatever that means. So therefore, the confines of what executive session would have been for them to speak in that private matter, we have board members openly stating that they will not. And I just want to make sure that those employees are here understand that. And if they still wish to speak with us with that being stated. And I respect it if you don't.
Right, and I want to be clear what's being said. If you do an exit interview and you do a whole exit interview, you're not limiting it to items that are specified under the Open Meetings Act. So if I am leaving and one of the reasons I'm leaving is because the fluorescent lights give me seizures, that is not executive session conversations. Or if I'm disturbed by this or that, I can't, that kind of thing. If you're doing a whole complete exit interview, you're going to be back and forth across the line of what is confidential and what is not confidential. If it's statutorily confidential, I'm not going to violate that. But when you say we're going into an exit interview, my assumption is we're going to do a real one. And the real ones we just got today are in spreadsheets that everybody can see, and the answers are there for everybody to see. So when I see we're going into executive session, I have to think, well, why? And then how are we going to do the whole interview? So that's what I'm getting at. I will plan on asking questions that are not covered by confidentiality and looking for answers to that. Climate questions. I mean, if you're doing an exit interview, do an exit interview. Ask the same questions we ask all our employees when they do exit interviews. Maybe ask some more probing questions, but those will not be covered by confidentiality. Therefore, what the heck are we doing in executive session doing that? So then the only cure is to confine them and say, oh, well, here's the 3 lanes you have to stay in. And basically then we're forcing you into complaints, right?
Instead of beating around the bush, can we just not do the executive session because no one's going to be happy?
I don't think that
I
we
just
should
want to
do
give
that because we're talking about a hypothetical. We don't know what our staff want to talk to us about.
correct. And also,
The point of legal being here, which I requested, I don't know if anyone else
I did
was
as well.
to make sure that we stayed within the bounds of what's appropriate for executive session. We could sit here all day and talk about what if, and if this happened, if that happened, but we won't know until we actually give them the opportunity to speak.
Actually, I would know because I have questions prepared.
But you shouldn't ask them. That wouldn't be appropriate.
So we're not really doing exit interviews.
We're allowing them to speak with us as requested. The same way we allow other people to speak with us.
And so, I guess for clarity, for my special meeting notice that I typed, and I'll take full responsibility when I speak of conducting an exit interview, is to hear from you, departing staff members. And it also talked about hearing directly from exiting employees regarding their experiences, concerns, and reasons for resignation to better understand the organizational climate and improve staff retention. So there was not a questionnaire or anything like that that went out, which you all know because you know I got anything. There is one that's provided by our HR department, which is volunteer. So we don't make anyone fill that out. And with the amount of things that have come in, we've all said at one point we wanted to hear directly. So this was our opportunity. Plus, we had requests to do so before we have more resignation. So I appreciate you clarifying that, Mr. Kirshner, because I took that as that no matter what was said in that room, that it would not be held in confidence or in confidentiality. But what you're saying is those things that are meet the confines of executive session, you will adhere to, because I just think that's fair for our employees that are here to know
Yeah,
what that means.
I don't plan on breaking the law. Actually, I was clarifying that I wouldn't. But you know, when we do exit interviews, I want a complete exit interview. And if we were to do this right, and if anybody would have involved me, or if I could have been involved in the decision, there would be lanes, and there would be portions that would be right out here in front of everybody, and there would be portions that would be back in there. We'd probably start in there to determine what was private and what was public, and then we would be able to do the entire thing, or better yet, cover anything that requires confidentiality in executive session and let the administration do what the administration does, and that is a complete exit interview. That's my position, and that's what my issue is with this is we are taking on the role of administrators, and in doing so and going into executive session, we're tying our hands to hear, like you even mentioned, climate. Climate is not something that, you know, unless there's a specific item under the G items, as you know very well, then the climate isn't one. You can talk about, well, you know, common known things that have happened that are in the press, etc. And that's not executive session. So that's where I'm concerned here. And then obviously I brought up the other part not as a threat, just to explain that when I have had open meetings concern, it's resulted in $100,000 or something like that spent against me and dragging me through the courts for a better part of a year. So I'm very sensitive to that. Thank you.
So is it okay? Are we able to ask our folks that wished if they still want to proceed with the information presented? I just want to make sure it's okay. I'm okay either way, but we can vote on it. And if they go back, they go back. I don't know. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood what was said and before we move forward. That's all.
I'll also say I'm kind of responding in the blind because I don't know. I didn't know if we were seeing 2 people or 40 or everybody that's leaving. We have a lot. So I have no idea what we were setting this up for as far as personnel.
There were a couple other who couldn't make it or declined.
So just for clarity purposes, did they request and then they declined, or did they request and this date wasn't acceptable to them?
One person had a conflict. A couple other people just declined to come in tonight.
I guess
Okay,
he
thank
was
you.
asking, did they ask or did we ask them?
I was people who were leaving with concerns. I was asked to see if they wanted to come in and talk.
Okay.
So are there any other comments?
I have one. I just don't know where it stops and starts because it's almost like we're setting policy without setting policy. Now we're doing exit interviews instead of with administrative staff. We're doing them in executive session. I don't know when that stops, when that starts. We don't have a policy for that. So that's a little concern for me.
Can we just do roll call?
Is there any other questions or comments? No, not yet. I have another. We haven't even read the motion, so we can't do a roll call without the motion being read at this point. And discussion is healthy and part of being on a board. So, I want to make it clear that I object to this executive session and I will be going in under objection. Just want to be clear that's on the record. I will read the recommendation. Well, I will ask one of the board members who are making this recommendation to read it because it is definitely
Well, no, you
not
want the
mine. Thank you.
presidency, so you need to read it, or you can resign if you don't want to read the recommendation. That's your job as president, or resign.
I'm sorry.
Are you in trouble here?
I think I've taken my paper. What's
It is. I'll read it. It's recommended that the board of the Groveport Madison School Board of Education enter executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual, unless the employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual request a public hearing by Division G1 or section 121.22 of the revised code. And my objection is even more strenuous as this is way too many reasons to be going into. It's not specific. And I think our attorneys have definitely said it needs to be.
So moved.
Can you do roll call, please?
second?
I need a second. John, second?
So to that point, two board members called this meeting, which is great. There's no problem with that. But when you do so, I don't think it's fair to attack the president and tell her she has to read the motion that you brought. So just for the record, I think if two board members bring this, one of you should be willing to read the motion.
And neither one of you did. So, but okay.
Are there any other comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Zauberger,
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmer,
I'm abstaining because I don't want to deal with this.
Mrs. Herbert,
Aye.
Ms. Walsh,
No.
and Mr. Kirschner.
No.
Motion
Motion fails. Motion to adjourn. Uh, Board of Education, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Zauberger.
Aye.
Mrs. Zimmer,
I'll abstain again.
Mrs. Herbert,
Aye.
Mrs. Walsh,
Aye.
and Mr. Kirschner.
6:21. The meeting's adjourned.
Who did the first and second on the adjournment?
Is Latoya? Not here, okay. It's 7 o'clock, and this is the 7 p.m. Board of Education special meeting, April 27th. It's called to order, and now we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Treasurer, if you could do roll call, please.
Yes. Mrs. Dauberberger, Ms. Zimmer,
Here.
Ms. Herbert,
Here.
Ms. Walsh,
Here.
Chris Kirsten.
Here.
On to item D, agenda approval.
I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
One second. Any questions or concerns? Do roll call, please.
Ms. Zimmer,
No.
Ms. Herbert,
No.
Ms. Walsh,
Yes.
and Mr. Kirsten.
Yes.
Since we didn't have the agenda's not approved, but I don't think we have to approve an agenda, do we, Mr. Tujan?
I didn't hear what you just, I didn't hear the question or the response.
Megan had said we don't have to approve an agenda, and that's what we were voting on. Is there some changes you would like to make to the agenda? There were no comments?
So earlier we didn't approve the agenda and we didn't go into executive session, but now we're not approving the agenda and we are going into executive session. Is that correct?
This meeting was scheduled during a board meeting on the 14th, I believe. And the executive session on this board meeting is for specific purposes that the board attorney gave us, which is G1. For limited purposes here. It's not for a whole laundry list. And for G3 and for G1, it's executive session to consider the investigation of charges and complaints against the district employee, which is what the board attorney and what we agreed to during the April 14th meeting. And 3, to confer with attorney regarding disputes involving a public body, which is also what both attorneys had asked us to put on there.
Right. My question was, we didn't approve the agenda for the meeting before, but we also didn't approve this agenda. Are you saying that because you agree with what's on the agenda that it's approved and we can go into executive session? Or we couldn't go into the one earlier because you didn't approve of what was on the agenda?
I believe the last 5:30 meeting, the agenda was approved. The executive session was not approved, but the agenda itself was approved. So
Right, yeah, it was 3-2, so it did, the agenda was approved.
so is there any other comments?
All right.
So,
Let me go ahead and read the executive session. I recommend that, I move that we move to executive session for the following. Groveport Madison School Board of Education under executive session to consider the investigation of charges or complaints against a district employee or official pursuant to ORC 121.22 G1, and to confer with the board's attorney concerning disputes involving the public body that are subject to pending and imminent court action pursuant to ORC 121.22 G3.
is there any comments?
Second first.
Oh, second.
John first, Kathy second. Okay.
Yes. So does anyone have any comments? I would say my comment would be that this is what we as a board decided to do at the April 14th meeting. And the reason is what we decided at the April 14th meeting. And I think it's important that we do so because the attorney said we have some pretty important things hanging out there, issues hanging out there that we need to address as a board in a timely manner. Any other comments? A roll call, please.
Ms. Zimmer,
No.
Ms. Herbert,
No.
Ms. Walsh,
No.
Mr. Kirschner.
Oh, wait, I reconsider my vote. Make it yes.
Okay, Kathy, yes. No, Deanna, no, Ashley. Okay, Mr. Kirschner.
I'm sorry, yes. Doesn't make any difference, but yes.
Sorry, Adam.
All right.
So the next item on here is the board to consider executive session item, which we were going to have removed anyhow, but
Right.
because we didn't accept the agenda. I would make a comment, motion for the motion to adjourn. I would make a comment that, this is just seems a little tit for tat, and it's a problem for the district. When you talk about you want to see the kids and how they look at things, and they're looking at this, and this is just so childish. I make a motion to adjourn.
I would just
Second.
like to comment
I'm-
that
Hold
what
on.
was discussed
Go
for
ahead.
the agenda was not actually fully done for the record.
Okay.
So not all pieces were included in the executive session.
Okay.
And we were also missing
Could
one
you
of our
slow-
board
I'm
members.
sorry, there's a lot of noise over here. I'm sorry, Ashley, I really want to hear what you're saying. I'm sorry, there's making a lot of noise in my ear. Could you state that again? Could you
We
say?
don't have a forum, so we.
Wait, we have
Oh,
three
wait,
people.
Yeah,
okay. The original things that were supposed to be discussed is not happening because not all of the individuals could be here. So what we have approved to have this meeting for is not actually happening, so it's changed.
Okay,
The key
I thought-
piece,
Yeah,
the key piece is not here, so we did not agree to this specific special meeting.
you're saying, it says the keys.
The specific reason
Okay,
is not here.
Thank you. I need to roll call for adjournment. Ms. Zimmer, adjournment.
Yes.
Mr. Herbert,
Yes.
Mr. Kirschner.
yes.
Okay, so, all right, adjourn at 7:08.
Just a second.